Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Before I get started, as always, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waharakakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, the men who rule well over Israel, and also the same men that taught us this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth. In faith, love, truth, and in sincerity and in diligence. And to those sisters that are listening and learning, and to those that support the ministry, Shalom. It's the brother Yakana from the GMS Houston camp coming back with another installment of GMS Practicals. And I wanted to go into this lesson about the wicked man, being the wicked being Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And we'll just jump right in, starting in the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds." And this is talking about the Esau Edom, the so-called white man. It says, "Woe unto him, woe being destruction. They devise iniquity and they work it on their beds." It says, "When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." So they had the power on this side. They had the power to do everything that they doing. And physically, we don't have the power to stop them, no matter how wicked they are and the wicked acts that they commit, the unrighteous decrees that they draw up, and, everything that they do. And this Esau all the way across the board, man. The Edomites overseas, the Edomites here in Babylon. Um, because it says it's in their hands. The power to do so is in their hands. It's like when you go to Job 9 and 24, it says, "The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. And if not him, then who and where is he?" There's only one force on this planet, man, one people that's running everything, and that's the wicked. And it's all over the world. They're fighting over Ukraine. That's on the Edomites, man. You know, Putin declared martial law in Ukraine, and people are over here crying about it. Notwithstanding, there's a form of martial law that's placed on this place, man. We live under a form of it. It's not full fledged, but it's coming. Why? Because it's in the power of their hands to do so. Now we in voting season. You know, your vote don't count. Well, you should know that. You know, but that goes back into putting your faith in this devil, man, instead of putting your faith in the Most High. But they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And that's everything that this devil does. There's nothing righteous about him, man. It says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence." Prime example of that is America, Babylon, man. You know, they took it by violence. They came over here, they set up shop, they began murdering and killing, murdering, rape, robbing, and they was like, more people coming, we need more land. So what are we gonna do? We'll take more. And then more people came, and they needed more land, so they took more, and then on and on and on, until they put the was what they call the indigenous people here, the so-called Native American Indians. Now they all living on reservations because their land was taken from them, wasn't purchased, wasn't gained in a legal manner. In other words, they took it. You know, it says they covered fields. They saw this, they wanted it, they murdered, and they took it. They take them by violence, man. Same thing with the so-called Mexicans, Salakia, the Indians, so-called Indians, the tribe of Gad, and they did the same thing with the so-called Mexicans, who's the tribe of Issachar. They took their land and then they pushed them all the way back down in what's known as Mexico. When you look at the map, man, Issachar had not half, but a big chunk, the West Coast and all that. Gad had the rest. The land was divided that way. You know, Esau came in and he took it all, and he's still taking. Now they over there fighting over Ukraine because you got one set of Edomites that wants to get the land and get Ukraine to join NATO so they can put military bases there and have a clean shot at Russia. But then you got the Edomites from Russia saying, y'all broke this treaty because the treaty was y'all were not to buy, y'all weren't supposed to obtain nothing that crossed that buffer zone, those countries that was between us and what NATO has. And they clearly violated that. But that's not the picture that these Edomites paint, you know. But not taking no sides because one is just as wicked as the other, you know. They both got the same agenda. They want all the power. It says, and they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. And you can see that taking away houses on a smaller scale is the gentrification in these cities, man. You know, they buying up all this property in these hoods, so to speak, where Jake is remodeling houses, building new stuff, driving the property value through the roof. Jake can't afford to live there. And what they buying them out for, Jake can't afford to move nowhere else. So Jake is just assed out. But they can't stop him because they had the power to do so. It was given to him by the Most High Yahweh himself. Again, it tells you that in Job 9 and 24, you know, that was given unto him to do that, you know. And when it says they covered fields and take them by violence, that's just Esau using his blessing, which is the sword, you know. He got everything, man, and it ain't enough. Never satisfied. But everything he's getting, he get by the sword. And that same sword is going to be his downfall, man. You know, he says, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man that is heritage. Now you got the small hats running around here, want you to believe they the Jews. They Judah, you know. They claim different nationality in the Bible, except being who they are, which is Esau Edom, you know. But they got the people buffaloed into believing that they're right because they got the power. They set the laws down. They do what they want to do, you know. And if you buck up against them, well, then they'll just wipe you out. You can see that in Libya, Syria, and Iraq. They just go in and blow shit up and take it. They ain't asking nobody nothing. They just take what they want. And they leave the place depleted. They go in and take all the natural resources and they say to hell with the people of that country, man. Get along the best way you can. So it says they even oppress a man. Salaki there. So they oppress a man at his house, even a man at his heritage. So they've taken our identity and they've told us we were African American, you know, and our people go for that, you know, because they think, well, they got all the power, they got to be right. Got to be something to it, you know. Verse 3 it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks. So, in other words, what the Most High has for these Edomites, which is is his righteous indignation. They ain't getting out of this, man. They got to pay for what they did, and it ain't just Esau. It's the other nations too that had us in slavery. It says, "Neither shall you go hardly, for this time is evil." Um, let me grab this right quick, cause it ain't like I said. It ain't just Esau. These other nations got to pay. Okay, this is Jeremiah 30 and start at verse 16. It says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured." And we were devoured, man. So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans by all these other nations, you know. So what they did to us, we gonna get them back in the kingdom. It says, "And all thine adversaries, every one of them, not some of them, not most of them, every one of them shall go into captivity." So that's that slavery. In the kingdom of heaven, y'all gonna get it, man. You know, and it ain't no getting out of it. It says they shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So in other words, uh, recompense, man, payback. Y'all got to be paid back for what you did, you know. And when you go back to Micah, it says, "Against this family do I devise an evil, for which ye shall not remove your necks." And that's because the Most High hates Esau, Edom, man. You know, and he don't get no pass. This is just real quick. Romans 9:13. It says, "As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." You know, just to bring that out real quick. But in pursuant to that Jeremiah, let me find this. Here we go. That it says, and let me go back and grab that Salakia. Bear with me for a second. It says, "And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity." That's back in Jeremiah 30 and 16. So when you jump over here to Revelation 13 and 10, it says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." So did they not lead us into captivity? Well, it's their turn. And when we get to the kingdom of heaven, which is our kingdom, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the nation of Israel, they going into captivity. They'll be our slaves, man. All the nations, not just Esau, not just the so-called white man, but Esau, Edom, but all the nations. It says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." So that's why soon you go back to Micah, it says they covered fields and take them by violence. Well, that same violence that they used is going to be used against them. He that killeth with the sword. And that's how they took everything with violence, by violence with their sword. The modern day sword being the gun. It says, "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." It's no other way. It ain't no getting out of this. You understand? Now, going back to Micah, it says, "Ye shall not remove your necks." There's no getting out of it. It says, "He that killeth with the sword must be." Must be. It didn't say he might be. It says he must be. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And we believe these scriptures to be true, man. So everything that this devil has done, what he's doing now, and what he's going to do, he's got to pay for it. Because remember Micah 2, verse 1, it says, "Woe unto them." That's destruction unto them that's coming. And there's no getting out of it now. You're going to pay for what you did, Esau, Edom, and all the other nations that were in confederacy with you in pursuant to Psalms 83. When y'all got together and said, "We gonna make Israel no more," roughly paraphrasing. We're going to do away with Israel. There won't be no more Israelites. And y'all tried. You didn't succeed, but you got to pay for what you did. That's why in Jeremiah says, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. All of y'all. Y'all going to pay for what you did. So enjoy what's left of your kingdom, Esau, because it's coming to a screeching halt. As soon as Yahweh Shah gets here, it's all over with. So I'm going to go ahead and end with that. Until next time, I will say Shalom.